Welcome to day 108, Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 30. Then Moses recited aloud every single word of this song to the entire assembly of Israel. Chapter 32, verse 1. Pay attention, heavens, and I will speak. Listen, earth, to the words of my mouth. Let my teaching fall like rain and my word settle like dew, like gentle rain on new grass and showers on tender plants. For I will proclaim the Lord's name, declare the greatness of our God, the rock. His work is perfect. All his ways are entirely just, a faithful God without prejudice. He is righteous and true. His people have acted corruptly toward him. This is their defect. They are not his children. But a devious and crooked generation is how you repay the Lord, you foolish and senseless people. Isn't he your Father and Creator? Didn't he make you and sustain you? Remember the days of old? Consider the years long past. Ask your father, and he will tell you. Your elders, and they will teach you. When the Most High gave the nations of their inheritance, and divided the human race, he set the boundaries of the peoples, according to the number of the people of Israel. But the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob, his own inheritance. He found him in a desolate land, in a barren, howling wilderness. He surrounded him, cared for him, and guarded him as if the pupil of his eye. He watches over his nest like an eagle, and hover over his young. He spreads his wings, catches him, and lifts him up on his pinions. The Lord alone led him, with no help from a foreign god. He made him ride on the heights of the land, and eat the produce of the field. He nourished him with honey from the rock, and oil from flint-like rock, cream from the herd, and milk from the flock, with the fat of lambs, rams from Bashan, and goats, with the choicest grains of wheat. You drank wine from the finest grapes. Then Jeshurun became fat and rebelled. You became fat, bloated, and gorged. He abandoned the God who made him, and scorned the rock of his salvation. They provoked his jealousy with foreign gods. They enraged him with detestable practices. They sacrificed to demons, not God, to gods they had not known, new gods that had just arrived, which your fathers did not fear. You ignored the rock who gave you your birth. You forgot the God who brought you forth. When the Lord saw this, he despised them. Provoked to anger by his sons and daughters, he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what will become of them, for they are a perverse generation, unfaithful children. They have provoked my jealousy with their so-called gods. They have enraged me with their worthless idols, so I will provoke their jealousy with an inferior people. I will enrage them with a foolish nation, for fire has been kindled because of my anger, and burns to the depths of Sheol. It devours the land and its produce, and scorches the foundations of the mountains. I will pile disasters on them. I will use up my arrows against them. They will be weak from hunger, ravaged by pestilence and bitter plague. I will unleash on them wild beasts with fangs, as well as venomous snakes that slither in the dust. Outside, the sword will take their children, and inside there will be terror. The young man and the virgin will be killed, the infant and the gray-haired man. I would have said, I will cut them to pieces and blot out the memory of them from mankind, if I had not feared insult from the enemy, or feared that these foes might misunderstand and say, our own hand was prevailed. It wasn't the Lord who did all this. Israel is a nation lacking sense with no understanding at all. If only they were wise, they would figure it out. They would understand their fate. How could one man pursue 1,000, or two put 10,000 to flight, unless their rock had sold them, unless the Lord had given them up? But their rock is not like our rock. Even our enemies concede, for their vine is from the vine of Sodom, and from the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are poisonous, their clusters are bitter. Their wine is serpent's venom, the deadly poison of cobras. It is not stored up with me, sealed up in my vaults. Vengeance belongs to me, I will repay. In time their foot will slip, for their day of disaster is near, and their doom is coming quickly. The Lord will indeed vindicate his people, and have compassion on his servants, when he sees that their strength is gone, and no one is left, slave or free. He will say, where are their gods, the rock they found refuge in, who ate the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offerings? Let them rise up and help you. Let it be a shelter for you. See now that I alone am he. There is no God but me. I bring death and I give life. I wound and I heal. No one can rescue anyone from my hand. I raise my hand to heaven and declare, as surely as I live forever. When I sharpen my flashing sword, and my hand takes hold of judgment, I will take vengeance on my adversaries, and repay those who hate me. I will make my arrows drunk with blood, while my sword devours flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, the heads of the enemy leaders. Rejoice, you nations, over his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will take vengeance on his adversaries. He will purify his land and his people. Moses came with Joshua, son of Nun, and recited all the words of this song in the presence of the people. After Moses finished reciting all these words to all Israel, he said to them, take to heart all these words I am giving as a warning to you today, so that you may command your children to carefully follow all the words of this law. For they are not meaningless words to you, but they are your life, and by them you will live long in the land you are crossing the Jordan to possess. On that same day, the Lord spoke to Moses, go up to Mount Nebo in the Abarim range in the land of Moab, across from Jericho, and view the land of Canaan I am giving the Israelites as a possession. Then you will die on the mountain that you go up, and you will be gathered to your people, just as your brother Aaron died on Mount Hor and was gathered to his people. For both of you broke faith with me among the Israelites at the waters of Meribath Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin, by failing to treat me as holy in their presence. Although you will view the land from a distance which I am giving the Israelites, you will not go there. Welcome. Day 108, Psalm 48, verse 1. The Lord is great and is highly praised in the city of our God, his holy mountain rising splendidly. Is the joy of the whole earth. Mount Zion on the slopes of the north is the city of the great King. God is known as a stronghold in its citadels. Look, the kings assembled, they advanced together. They looked and froze with fear. They fled in terror. Trembling seized them there, agony like that of a woman in labor, as you wrecked the ships of Tarshish with the east wind. Proverbs chapter 11. A gracious woman gains honor, but violent men gain only riches. A kind man benefits himself, but a cruel man brings disaster on himself. The wicked man earns an empty wage, but the one who sows righteousness, a true reward. Luke chapter 12, verse 22. Then he said to his disciples, "Therefore I tell you, don't worry about your life, what you will eat, or about the body, for what you will wear. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Consider the ravens. They don't sow or reap. They don't have a storeroom or a barn, yet God feeds them. Aren't you worth much more than the birds? Can any of you add a cubit to his height by worrying? If then you're not able to do even a little thing, why worry about the rest? Consider how the wild flowers grow. They don't labor or spin thread. Yet, I tell you, not even Solomon in all his splendor was adorned like one of these. If that's how God clothes the grass, which is in the field today and is thrown into the furnace tomorrow, how much more will he do for you? You of little faith. Don't keep striving for what you should eat and what you should drink, and don't be anxious. For the gentle world eagerly seeks all these things, and your Father knows that you need them. But seek his kingdom, and these things will be provided for you. Don't be afraid, little flock, because your Father delights to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Make money bags for yourselves that won't grow old, an inexhaustible treasure in heaven, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Be ready for service and have your lamps lit. You must be like people waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so that when he comes and knocks, they can open the door for him at once. Those slaves the master will find alert when he comes will be blessed. I assure you, he will get ready, have them recline at the table, then come and serve them. If he comes in the middle of the night, or even near dawn, and finds them alert, those slaves are blessed. But know this, if the homeowner had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also be ready, because the Son of Man is coming at an hour that you do not expect.